What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Footy with an Edge. We have some breaking news to share that United have apparently put a £78 million bid for Yan Diomande. There were a lot of clubs interested in this transfer. I think Tottenham had earlier put in a £68 million bid to try to get ahead of some of the other bids that are out there. And look, Christopher Vivell was at RB Leipzig. We've been as basic and as simple as going after other RB Leipzig signings in the past. So this is certainly on the table, right? Now, this is coming from Africa Foot, which is, I guess, an African-based news agency, and we haven't seen any of the tier 1 journalists back it up yet, but everyone is talking about it, and that's what I'm reacting to. Now, the idea is, whether this is a confirmed bid or not, it's to talk about the transfer, the player, and what it actually means for United. Because looks like we're again not going to fix the midfield, right? We're trying to go for other positions over the midfield, and this, whether this is real or this is just spin, it just points to the fact that Ineos just want the positivity around the club to come back. And this is their attempt at doing something like that, right? So that's why I feel like whether this is actually real or not, we got to see, we got to sort of talk through how this impacts us as a club, right? So £78 million bid, that's 90 million euros. Apparently the news out there is that RB Leipzig value him at 100 million euros. And so we're going to talk about chaos in the present versus conviction in the future. And we're also going to talk about the Talk of the Devils episode, where essentially they said United don't look like a club without ambition. They look like a club that hasn't yet aligned power, football identity, and long-term planning. So let's start with the transfer news, because this is pretty big news in terms of us getting linked to somebody. We haven't literally had 0 links 8 days into a January transfer window. The source is Africa Foot, and it's been retweeted by a bunch of United, sources as well. Not any tier 1 sources yet, so this is what we're reacting to. So, United have apparently acted decisively at a moment where fans badly need something forward-looking, and Leipzig's reported valuation is 87.3 million pounds. Leipzig have granted United permission to speak to the players' representatives, and this is a huge negotiation signal. So the proposed contract is apparently 5 years plus a 1-year option, with the salary being around 3 million pounds per year. I think that's like 60, 70K per year, something like that. Any final agreement is expected after AFCON, once Ivory Coast concludes their campaign. And he's a 19-year-old with 7 senior caps for Ivory Coast with 2 goals. We have some elite competition, specifically Liverpool, Spurs, Bayern, and Man City, all tracking him. And United are reportedly now in pole position. And for those of you guys asking for the source, like Sean just said there, it is coming from aggregators that I've seen online, right? So this is a case of us being linked to somebody that we probably don't need, to be honest, guys. As exciting as this might sound, I would love for us to be linked like this to a midfielder, right? And so this is not about an interim manager. This is not necessarily, this doesn't solve any of our problems. All this does is signal a panic January move that gets people to talk about something else, right? It's like a magic trick when I'm trying to distract you with something happening over here where the magic trick is happening over on this hand, right? So it just seems like a little bit of if it is serious, it's a little bit of nonsense. If it's not serious, then they're just trying to spin an agenda onto us that gets us distracted and gets us talking about something else. So either way, it's not really a good look. But since we have been linked, why don't we go through some of his stats and talk about what it looks like, right? So let me just do this and get my pointer up. Add that to stage. Okay. So Yan Diomande, he has just turned 19, less than 2 months ago, November 14th. Currently plays for Leipzig, obviously, in 14 Bundesliga matches, which is around 9 full 90s, 888 minutes. We have, or 10 full 90s, sorry, almost 900 minutes. He's got 6 goals and 2 assists from XG of 3.2, so he's an XG overperformer, and looks like his assists are also slightly above expected. He's got 46 shot creating actions and 6 goal creating actions in the Bundesliga so far. And for this season, let's go to this season. His stats look very good, right? Out of 900 minutes, 4.26 successful take-ons per 90. Are you shitting me right now? Oof. Yeah, so he's an elite dribbler, right? Like, got insane agility, insane balance. I probably need to zoom this in. I'm sorry. There we go. So he's got insane agility, insane balance for somebody that's his height and, you know, the kind of strength that he has. He's got 6.28 progressive carries per 90. He's also got 6.89 touches in the penalty area and 4.66 shot creating actions and also 0.61 non-penalty goals per 90. So this is very good, right? And he's clearly massively overperforming his XG to score the goals that he's scoring. And he has four progressive passes as well, so he does pass, but he's an elite dribbler, right? So he's going to really dribble a lot with the ball. And if we need a left winger that helps us move on from Bruno Fernandes, then this guy could be a decent option. But my big problem is that he is not Premier League proven yet. He's not even Bundesliga proven yet. He's only had half a season there, and we don't know if this is just going to be a player that we bring in and struggles with the decision making, with the pace of the league, etc. So there's a lot of progression that he still needs to make. Arav says Garnacho in disguise in terms of not passing the strikers. Come on, bro. Nobody is as bad as Garnacho. Okay, Garnacho was not this electric. Garnacho was not this good in terms of the profile of player. Guys, I only see 4 likes on the stream. Can we please get some likes? Please like the stream, guys. Appreciate it. So this guy is a Cote d'Ivoire international. He's playing in the AFCON right now. He's had some decent performances. He just scored a hat-trick against Eintracht Frankfurt a few games ago for Leipzig. And like I said, elite dribbling numbers. This is essentially this year's Jeremy Doku, if you want to look at it that way, right? Because if I pull up Doku's numbers, let's go to Doku and check the scouting report for this season. Doku's played 1,100 minutes in the Premier League, so comparable amount of minutes. And you look at his progressive carries, he's got 10 progressive carries per 90, which is elite. And then he's also got 4.88 successful take-ons per 90. He's also got 8 touches in the penalty area per 90 and 10 progressive passes received, right? And look at his shot creating action, 7 per 90. So this guy's been elite at this stuff. And if you compare him to midfielders, I mean, there's no chance, right? But compared to attacking midfielders or wingers, his ball progression numbers, specifically on his carries, are just insane, right? So this guy is essentially this season's Jeremy Doku. And if we go, in fact, let's go look at Doku's last season in the Ligue 1. So he came to the Premier League in 23-24. We go look at his Ligue 1 numbers, which is like 4 seasons ago now. Look, he had elite take-ons, elite progressive carries, touches in the penalty area, progressive passes received. Everything was like top tier. And so we're seeing essentially the same guy, right? Jeremy Doku is now 23. Yan Diomande is 19. So the same age that Doku came to the Premier League, we're looking to get Yan Diomande for. And this guy off the left wing will be attracting defenders like nobody's business. But my issue is that, again, are we jumping the gun on this guy? Is this all smoke and mirrors? Are we trying to get excited about something that is never going to happen? Plus, the question is he going to choose us over anybody else? And what's it going to take for us to actually get him here, right? Because there could be a City or a Liverpool might be silly enough to give an unproven 19-year-old 200 grand per week. So, yeah, we don't really know. Abhishek Tyagi, this news is coming in from aggregators. And yeah. Anyways, so let's look at some other stuff here. This guy this season has had 6 goals and 3 assists. Let me zoom this in a bit. He's had 6 goals and 3 assists in the Bundesliga in 900 minutes. He's also had a goal and assist in the DFB Pokal. So 7 goals, 4 assists in 16 appearances for RB Leipzig. And if we go check out his profile, he's 19 years old. Like I said, he's just under 6 foot tall. He's worth 45 million according to the transfer market right now. And he's got a contract till 2030. Now, the thing is, Leipzig purchased him for 20 million euros from Leganes, and he moved to Leganes from the DME Academy just in January of last year. So Leganes themselves made like a 20 million profit on this guy in 2025, just in 6-7 months. And we're basically looking to give RB Leipzig like 4.5x on their money within the space of like, I don't even know. We're trying to 4.5x their money in such a short period of time, like 6 months. Right? This is what we're looking at, guys. So I don't know if this is exciting news to you guys. Personally, I am indifferent a little bit, if you ask me, because it just seems like a really high price and a big risk for us to take, where we have recently had issues with a player like this. Plus, he's an African player who plays for Ivory Coast, which means the next time in the future, this guy's 19 years old, so we're getting him for many, many years in the future. We're going to have issues around him going to AFCON. And he could even be, Ivory Coast's best player moving forward. So I don't really know how to feel about this, guys. I mean, hopefully you guys can help me understand how I should be feeling about this, right? And if we look at his stats in the AFCON so far, he was, I guess, man of the match against Burkina Faso, according to FOTMob. Let me see this. Yeah, Diomande was the man of the match, closely followed by Ahmad. And the fact that Ahmad had a goal and an assist, but FOTMob still gave it to Diomande. Let's see what he did. He had 3 shots, 1 goal, 0.17, but 0.57 in terms of post-shot XG. So very good in that terms. 4 chances created, 2 defensive contributions, 6 dribbles completed, 6, 3 accurate crosses, 2 passes into the final third, dispossessed twice, and won 9 out of 14 of his ground duels. So he's been solid, man. He's been balling out for Ivory Coast. And if we look at his Bundesliga numbers as well, he's had very good performances throughout the season, right? He's got a 7.43 rating on FOTMob, which isn't that far away actually from the Bruno Fernandes rating. So lots of people are saying another Bundesliga flop. Stop buying players from Bundesliga. Vivell is increasingly coming across as incompetent. It strikes me as lazy scouting. Was he in the same team as Šeško? No, I think he moved to Leipzig in the summer, and Šeško left in the summer as well. So he's never played with Šeško. So Ineos don't want Amorim to bring in players from Sporting, but build a RB 2.0 for Vivell. Very good point, Devo. This is a very good point that we need to be talking about more, because personally, this is just a nonsense, right? Like, we weren't willing to give him the other Diomande, Ousmane Diomande, that Amorim wanted to bring in from Sporting, but we wanted to give this guy Vivell all his players from the RB group. And why are we paying such an inflated price for him in the first place? Like, can't we just go get the next Diomande for 20 million or something like that, just like RB did this? If Vivell has such good links within the RB group, then surely we can just go find the next guy, right? Why are we going after somebody that we're going to have to significantly overpay for? And I'm guaranteeing you there's going to be somebody that essentially offers to pay him a really high wage. Like if he went to Madrid, he would get 250 grand a week easy. That's like not even near the top wages that Madrid pays. So there's a good chance that he doesn't even want to come to us. And I think for the price that we're paying for Diomande, can't we just like focus on getting a midfielder? Kyoto says I think it's spin. Yeah, fair enough. Superfunk Munker says why he's a winger. Rax Chair says which would have been good. Amram wanted only 3: Diomande, Hulman, and Gyökeres. Yeah, I think Diomande and Hulman are still very good for this team even after Amram is gone. So I don't really know. Rishi says Madrid offload Vinny for 100 and buy this dude for 80. Yeah, it's a good point. The only thing is I don't know if Madrid wants to go for African players because yeah, I don't think I've seen them. Who's the last African player that played for Madrid? Like in terms of passport, not just black player, right? As if anyone would sign before knowing who the permanent manager is going to be, not happening. Why? Why do you think so, Mark? Actually, it's a good point. They've made it clear that they want to establish the hierarchy of Gary Neville, Sir Jim, director of football, manager, and then whatever the other minions around him. So why would they not want to sign a player before getting the manager in? Makes no sense to me. If they go spend 90 million in January, by the way, I think we're all gonna be so freaking pissed. Essien and Adebayor, yeah, Rishi, but that's been years, hasn't it? Oh, Brahim Diaz, good point. Okay, fair enough. Brahim Diaz is the last guy. Does he still play at Madrid? Brahim Diaz. Yep, he still plays for Madrid. Okay, fair enough. And I guess Hakimi was there. He came through their youth academy, didn't he? Brahim Diaz is a good shot, but still, they don't do it very often, right? Like that's one example. We don't have managers; we have head coaches. No top tier player will sign with such a convoluted structure. I'm still not sure how true these links are. I would wait for Fabrizio or Ornstein. No, that's fair. We're just discussing the news that's out there, right? I'm not saying this is a done deal. My point is like, what does this actually mean? Because somebody has definitely leaked it to some extent for so many people to be talking about this. Adebayor from Togo, I believe. Diaz, Hakimi, Essien. Yep, some of the names are really old. Brahim Diaz is the one that's like fairly recent. Spending that kind of money on an unproven player sounds very fishy. Sounds like Vivell wants a huge cut in this deal. Andy, think about it like this: would you go to a company when you know the person who promised you stability was sacked for speaking truth to power? No, I'm not saying I would like to join United right now as a young player. I mean, United just seems like very, very dodgy, to be honest, right now. But listen, this is where we are. Kanadi says United DNA, United DNA, brother. United DNA, United DNA. But we got lots more to talk about, guys. Okay, Diomande is just part of the conversation. We got lots more to talk about. Okay, so the second item on our agenda is United's next interim coach. Okay, hold on, guys. My notes are a little bugged out. I need to go look at this. Give me 1 second. Okay, bang bang. Okay. So for United's next interim coach, apparently there are four names that are in the mix, and we can talk about all of the talking points that are around United's next coach. And this is coming from the Talk of the Devils episode that came out today, and a reaction to their sort of conversation that was there in depth. So Darren Fletcher is being looked at as a caretaker, not the interim manager long term. Even the podcast, Andy Mitten, Laurie Whitwell, those guys, they're clear that United don't see Fletcher as the solution through May. Actually, give me a second. Let me just make sure. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to verify something. Yeah, so it was Ian Irving, Laurie Whitwell, Mark Critchley, and Andy Mitten. So Carl Anka was the one missing today. Right. I was just trying to clarify that. Now, apparently, United feel that maybe somebody with more experience should be in charge for the rest of the season. So the season is not being written off internally. And the quote from the podcast as well is, "You can't write the season off." Now, I personally call bullshit on that. I think the season has been written off internally. Whether they've said it explicitly or implicitly with their decisions, this season is gone, guys. Don't expect anything from this season. Of course, we're going to try to win games. Nobody's going to try to throw games, but this season is gone, right? Based on the decisions they've made, no player is going to want to sign for us right now. And no manager wants to come in and deal with this mess. So this apparently is not a vibes appointment. United still think there's something to salvage. League position, FA Cup instability. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. I have no faith in this. So apparently the real shortlist is Ollie and Carrick, and Ruud van Nistelrooy is also hovering as a potential option. Now, this isn't just speculation. These names are being actively processed. The names that are in the frame most prominently are going to Solskjaer and Michael Carrick. This is the quote from the podcast. It says, "United want to meet them and talks are progressing." And Ruud acknowledges the Ruud van Nistelrooy acknowledgement is Ruud has also been mentioned, but it feels to me that Solskjaer and Carrick are the two names in the frame. So this tells us that the club is prioritizing familiarity and emotional stability over experimentation. Essentially, they want somebody to come in and save their backside from the fans. There's a lot of negativity that's come in towards them because of the decision they've made. So they want somebody that comes in and saves their backside, right? Let me just look at this again. I have some more notes here, guys. Okay. So what they're looking for is not just hiring a caretaker, they're hiring a stabilizer for a apparently chaotic dressing room, which is bullshit. They're hiring a public facing shield for Ineos. They're looking for a reset vibe to cool fan anger, someone who can squeeze results without rewriting the squad, and someone who won't complicate the permanent hire in the summer. So they essentially want somebody who comes in and doesn't have tactics. They want somebody to come in and not overcomplicate things for the players, and also not have too many things that they meddle with the players that impact the next coach that's coming in. So this is the ambition of the club, guys. This is the ambition of the club that is laid out bare in front of us. So this is essentially a trust restoration hire. What United need from an interim coach is instant clarity, emotional control, authority and acceptance, a non-threatening timeline, and results without reinvention. So they're not trying to treat the rest of the season like a preseason, like Ruben Amorim did when he first came in. The goal is to really just get a yes man through the door that can salvage a top 4 or top 5 race and also give us an FA Cup run. You know, maybe get to the quarterfinals, semifinals, whatever. Now, the reason they want a United guy to come in, right, an ex-player legend to come in, is because the fan anger is real. Ratcliffe and Ineos, the sentiment there is taking a huge hit. Club legend helps them buy instant goodwill, and it signals that we are reconnecting with the club after a toxic week. It gives the hierarchy breathing room to line up the summer hire. So if Ineos were fully trusted right now by the fan base, they could appoint any competent external interim. The fact that they're looking for like a United guy, right? Tells us that they're trying to rebuild the legitimacy with the fan base. Now, the tactical question isn't back 3 versus back 4 as ideology. It's what causes fewer mistakes immediately. What gives us a chance to win some games till the end of the season. So they're just trying to buy time, right? They are just looking to buy time. Now, the next let's do a deep dive on the names that we're actually linked to. Here we go. I'm gonna update the agenda here. Give me 1 second. So the real short list, the names that are in the frame most prominently are going to be Solskjaer and Carrick. United want to meet them. Talks are progressing. Rude's also been mentioned, but Solskjaer and Carrick are the main 2 names. This is from Laurie Whitwell. Andy Mitten confirms that absolutely all he's interested. Contact was first made with him on Tuesday morning. He's kept his place in Manchester, so he still has a house in Manchester. Ollie fits the brief if the goal is calm, familiarity, emotional control. Excuse me, not reinvention. For Michael Carrick, it's a complicated personal dynamic. Carrick assisted Solskjaer, then left with a bit of solidarity. It's an interesting dynamic if they're now sort of rivals. And then the long-term belief is that Michael Carrick will one day manage Manchester United. Now with Rude, there's internal regret that's been acknowledged that they just let him go when who was Rude interim for? Right after Ollie, right before no, sorry, right after Ten Hag, before Amorim came in. So Amorim wanted full control. That's why he didn't want to keep Ruud Gullit around. He said, thanks, but no thanks. I want it all my way. Now, the Fletcher thing is treated as continuity, not authority. So Fletcher would have the Burnley game and the Brighton game. And then after that, we're going to get in the interim. So for the City game and the Arsenal game, they don't want Darren Fletcher there. Now, Mitten says the mood is different now. It's not it's not 2018 anymore. A snapshot of the fan sentiment is that Ollie people want 26% of the people want Ollie, 15% want Carrick, 47% want a combination of both, and 12% want a just completely someone else. So the takeaway is that, like I said, it's about stability and legitimacy, not about excitement. If we want to talk through each of the candidates, we can talk about Ollie, right? The club understands that he can handle the circus. He knows the club's scale, the media pressure, the expectations. He brings instant United heart credibility. And he's more likely than Michael Carrick to say, I'm here to help. I'll step aside in the summer. Now, what makes Ollie risky is symbolically, it looks like we're going backwards. It reopens the old arguments. It makes it a vibes manager, no trophies. It brings into question, is this really our ambition? Right? All of that nonsense. So there's a lot of issues with getting Ollie through the door as well. Now, if the results start well, the fan base splits. You could say, give him the job, or no, don't repeat history. And the moment Ollie's interim, every loss becomes, why did we go back to this guy? So Ollie is the safest emotional stabilizer, but he's not the most ambitious football idea, but perhaps gives us clean PR and a dressing room reset. If we compare that to Michael Carrick is tactically calm. He has a measured demeanor. He has that quiet authority that players might respect. He already did the interim job before, right after Ollie left, and he could be a little more modern in terms of style of play and controlled without having any drama. Now, Carrick is still building his managerial career. He may not want to risk damaging his trajectory. It's harder to accept a number 2 role to Ollie if it becomes Ollie versus Carrick. And if Carrick comes in and it goes badly, it harms him more than it harms Ollie necessarily. So Carrick is probably the more football forward choice, in my opinion. But he's also the one with the most to lose. I actually think if he comes in and does a decent job, he probably gets more of a spotlight to go get a job somewhere. So I don't think it hurts either of them that much, but it's probably fair that it hurts Ollie a little bit less than it hurts Carrick if things go badly. Now, Rude, I don't even think there's a point of talking about Rude or Darren Fletcher because there's no chance they're getting the job. It's guaranteed between Carrick and Ollie. So I think the next thing we need to discuss is more details that were revealed in inside Amorim's departure, right? And for that, I need to update the agenda here. So Amorim's departure, there was a big fallout, obviously, and it wasn't just about one argument. It was a system dispute. It was recruitment friction. It was a power tension, and then the Friday meeting detonated it. Right. So the Talk of the Devils, they've discussed more details about what happened. This is the core timeline, right? The system tension was growing. Training in a back 4 at points. Then match day, back 5, back 3 shows up. Players were confused in terms of what are we doing. And then media and the stats judge Amorim on the full record last season and this season, which kept the pressure rising. Now, Wolves and Newcastle sequences became symbolic, where Newcastle game was a clear back 4, and the perception was that it worked, even though we had to scratch and claw our way out of our way out of that victory. Then we reverted back to a back 3 or back 5 against Wolves, which was seen as alarming and concerning. Now, the power brokers internally discussed this at length, specifically the Gary Nevilles, who are telling Jim what to do, right? And then the Friday meeting happened where Amorim and Jason Wilcox had the big blow up. Wilcox reportedly raised player confusion, not being on the same wavelength, and need for variability or flexibility. And Amorim reacted badly to that because to him, that was his domain and his mandate, not a place for Wilcox to step in or anybody else for that matter. Now, after that, we had the Leeds result, and then Amorim went public. So once you go public against the bosses, the end is basically inevitable, and Amorim knew what was coming next. So maybe this was planned by Amorim, or whatever, that he wanted to orchestrate an exit at that point because he knew the relationship was beyond reproach. That is anybody's guess. So the key dynamic is manager model versus sporting director model, right? Is the manager the boss, or is the coach, the sporting director, and CEO decide structure, style, and recruitment together? Now, Ineos want this club first model so that the squad isn't rebuilt every 2 years, but they also didn't give everything they wanted to hire Ruben Amorim for. They hired him to play a system that they thought would work in this team. They hired him to play a specific style of football that they thought was going to take us forward in terms of the Premier League, and they didn't give him any of the resources that he needed to make any of those things happen. So I understand you want to do a club first model, but maybe you should go look up what that actually means. Now, recruitment was a downstream fight, right? If you tell a coach your system isn't working, the coach says, I need the right players for the system. That turns into recruitment arguments, recruitment fights. Amorim didn't feel fully backed in certain pursuits, specifically players like Semenyo, Watkins, etc. Amorim wanted Emi Martinez. Club opted for a younger club view option. Wingback personnel not fully aligned with the demands of the system. Dorgu was young. Others were repurposed. So it wasn't just a tactics disagreement. This was a disagreement over who gets the final word on the club. So this was all just a mess, right, guys? Ineos are talking about doing best in class stuff, but what they're actually doing is way subpar. They went and got Dan Ashworth as the best sporting director, fired him in 6 months. They went and got Ruben Amorim as one of the best young coaches in world football, fired him in 14 months. So for the next permanent manager, the key question is, any serious candidate is going to ask you who owns the style of play, who owns the recruitment veto, how much autonomy does the head coach actually have, and what happens when results dip? Are we going to panic again? Are we going to listen to Gary Neville again? So the next permanent hire isn't just a coach search, it's a governance test for how Ineos actually manages their team. Ayush is saying, I think Amorim already made up his mind about quitting at that meeting, and when questions indicated club were manipulating the narrative before firing him, he laid out his side of the story in the presser. Yeah. So guys, let's get a poll going. Hopefully you guys have liked the stream so I can get rid of that poll. But let's get a poll going for who you guys would like as the new manager. Okay. Let me get it up here. Who should be the permanent interim? Ollie, Carrick, Rude, and Fletcher. Let's go. Let's get this going. And we will also open up the lines. So whoever wants to join the call, feel free to do so on the pinned link in the chat. Let's have a discussion. Let's talk about Yan Diomande. Let's talk about the other topics we discussed. Whoever wants to come give their thoughts.
Yeah, it's live.
What's up, Ed?
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on, man?
You good? You feeling good?
Yeah. Wait, is there something you know that I don't?
No, I just had 6 Gulub Jamuns, man.
Oh yeah, let's go.
I think what I want to see is probably a guy that could. I want a manager that's gonna learn and actually have some sort of tactical analysis, and somebody that played in the midfield before. It's the most important position in any team. And I think he could probably, lead the charge for something. I think Michael Carrick is the perfect one for now. I would give him until the end of the season to see how he goes, and because we still have a lot of good teams to play, so you'll get to see what type of manager he is, and I think that's enough time to judge whether you want to, go move forward with him or not. I think Ole. The only reason I don't want Ole because we already know how the story ends with him. Vibes primarily. So I just think it has to be Carrick because he could give us a lot more, and he could probably rile the players up a lot better. And Ole would just kind of, because Ole needs a supporting cast, right? It can't just be Ole. If you're bringing, give Carrick a chance. I think he has the composure and the demeanor to be a good like a United manager. They talk about United DNA. That's pure United DNA, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think so. Here's the thing, right? The way they framed this conversation is that they want to get somebody in that doesn't spoil the players with their own tactics, and the off chance that those tactics are different from the manager who comes in the summer, right? It just sounds like the dumbest discussion ever. And I think that's a big risk. I think getting somebody like Ollie in for the vibes is going to be bad, because who's going to be Ollie's assistant, right? Who's that really going to be? I think Carrick is much more knowledgeable about the game because he was Ollie's assistant. So anything good we saw under Ollie can be attributed to Carrick and McKenna, who are both like actual head coaches elsewhere.
Yeah.
Right. Ollie just got the job in Turkey and he got fired. So personally, I agree with you. I think Carrick is probably the right choice, and we need to get him a player. Right now, I think Casemiro is the big problem. Ugarte doesn't really work in the Casemiro role because he jumps out of his position too much, and we have the same problem with this guy too, Kobe Mainu. So both of those guys will vacate their midfield spot, and we're just going to be put in a position where,
Yeah.
we have a polo midfield, like mint with a hole.
Okay, because the way I see it is, Carrick could potentially become your long-term manager, right? Ole will never become your long-term manager, ever. And also
maybe they want to avoid that though.
Why would they want to avoid that if he's going to be successful?
Because they want to go get somebody bigger, and the problem is you give Carrick some time, the signings are going to be in his mold, and then you're sacking a manager again within one season. Like, they don't have enough faith in him to give him like 3 seasons.
Brother,
and then it's going to be like, oh, you got another guy that failed. They would much rather go with a big name so that the load is shared with a bunch of people instead of just them.
Correct, but they also don't give a shit about project managers, so what big name's really going to come in? I don't think they get a big name other than Nagelsmann. He's going to be the only one that would be able to come in. And you could wait for him because there's a World Cup. You could wait as long as you want for him. And I think the Yan Diomande signing would be one of the biggest mistakes they make, given if they have the money.
I agree with that. I think the idea is, I think the idea is that they want to get Tuchel, from what I hear.
You guys actually think Tuchel would last year with this ownership?
He's gonna explode in a year again. And then he'll leave. So.
And then people are saying Unai Emirates. Like, Unai Emirates is not gonna come here. There's 0 chance. And I do not want to buy any more Leipzig players because #fuck Vivel.
Guys, I think all of this Tuchel talk is just smoke, because they want a head coach. No self-respecting manager is going to come here, right? Your Nagelsmann, he's been manager of a national team. He's not going to come to be a head coach. Everyone knows the difference in prestige between being called a manager versus head coach, because at least Amorim on his way out has ensured that these frauds don't get to short changes ever again. They're never going to have to, either they clarify that we've hired an employee to take care of training and stand there on the pitch during the match, or they have to commit to hiring a manager. So they make clear of that.
Look at the other managers that'll be available, and then what clubs are going to reshuffle as well, right? And so this becomes like, if you're going to say, I'm going to stick to head coach model and not do the manager thing, then are you effectively writing yourself off of the conversation of like the elite level managers that are available?
Yeah,
right?
Because you are signing off for a dollar store, bro. Forget your Costco's and Erewhons. Yeah, forget your Erewhons anyways. We are not shopping in the Erewhons. We are lucky to get to the Costco's. And actually, this ownership, they've shown there's a Hindi word called Aukat. I don't know the proper English translation for it. I think Shailin, you know what Aukat means. So what is your level? What is your level? We are at the dollar store level, guys. We are shopping at the Minisos and
I think you could say like, whatever. What can you really afford? How much can you afford?
How much can you? These people have shown their levels.
As you say, Costco, by the way, I see Shailin sipping a Kirkland brand drink, and I'm here eating a Kirkland brand protein bar.
Oh, by the way, I happened to have Kirkland brand aspirin once, and dude, it worked like a charm, better than the Indian aspirin. 100%.
So maybe the real story is we need to go Costco.
Yeah, but we're not even going Costco. We're not even going Costco. Costco would be a Deserby, right? Costco would be a Deserby. We are not even going there. We are going to the bloody dollar store. And just Andy, there's a. I'm sorry,
Actually,
I don't want to.
Costco would be either Tuchel or Deserby because then you're getting more than what you bargained for.
Guys,
Well
they're
said,
both
well said.
managers that don't put up with bad ownership. That are like,
Yeah.
fuck you guys, I'm out of here type managers. They do
Yeah.
not want those guys. The
But
only
I mean,
player-
you know, Ed, I think like to give you a counterpoint on if whether or not they'll even go for them. If they really do want to do this whole, we're going to do this club model where, you know, irrespective, the manager can come in and they can leave and that doesn't matter. It might not necessarily preclude them, right? Like they might just be able to be like, you know, put into a contract or something like that. If you end up leaving before your contract, then like, here is your payout amount. Or whatever, right? Maybe they can like negotiate that. And maybe that's what they want. Like they want some guy to come in that'll just like, you know, blow up at the middle of them because it takes pressure off of them and their poor decision making. Right.
Correct, but they're also they obviously want to be in control of everything. The narratives, what the media, what type of questions the media is asking. Like I'm telling you, these guys are not coming in because the best chance we have to ever even becoming good is Carrick. Because because people
Yeah.
are like interim, right? Interim could always turn into full time if he does a good job.
Yeah.
And I'd love that. I'd love Carrick to be like the next manager for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Why
And
not?
I think it takes the pressure off too, right? Inside of the media, Ed, right? Where you're just like, you have a guy like Carrick that comes in, you mentioned earlier, United DNA. Like, are we then
Who's going to be
talked about
defended
as-
by the pundits
yeah
at all
yeah.
costs? The finger pointing is going to go to the players. It's never going to be the manager's fault. The formation is never going to be an issue. And that's silencing the noise, like we said. That's what they're trying to do.
Shailin, they're basically doing what you know when you flew to the UK over the holidays and you personally recommended to Jim Ratcliffe, you told him that you should have a noise reduction strategy. Their noise reduction strategy is to bring a coach who's palatable to the media,
That's
because that is the biggest noise, right? The biggest noise is Amorim. They've got rid of Amorim and they've hired someone who's palatable to the media and the pundits. That's what they've done.
and to
You know,
the
they-
fan base too. So
They said we want to. It's like a hospital, right? The doctors said that we want to reduce the death rate here for patients who are operated. They stopped treating people. They left them outside on the gurney, outside the door. They said this guy didn't die in the hospital. He died in the gurney. It's on the EMTs.
yeah.
This is
You know,
the level of thinking they are indulging in.
Yeah, I'd love Nelson's like take on this whole thing, especially for like what is the next move going to be, because he's always kind of like been very say critical of Ineos like pre like Amorim being sacked. So Nelson, do you have like, you know, maybe some thought of what you think the next step would end up being in terms
I'm
of
surprised
management?
Nelson hasn't come in with the name tag saying Deserby's agent, because I think
Yeah.
Nelson wants us to pay 10 million to Marseille right now and bring in Deserby.
I would. Ed, Shant, and I were watching the PSG Monaco game and PSG Marseille game, and bro, it's so good. But we were like, yeah, there's no way this would work here.
0. Also,
Why?
Chevalier-
Tell us why.
He builds up in. So if anyone doesn't remember how he builds up, he plays two central midfielders in deep, like as the first pass receipt, center backs farther forward, and then when the midfielder passes the ball to the center back, the midfielder runs around them. And I'm like, how are we going to do that with Casemiro? How are we going to do that with Ugarte? There's no way this works. Literally no chance. But yeah, you were saying?
There's too much movement in the way he plays for your average Prem-tar to understand what the hell's going on.
Yeah,
Basically, intelligent mobile players, right? That's what we need. That's what Amorim was also asking for.
Yeah. And I mean, the work rate of these players, I might even say, is way higher than what Amorim even required, and we struggled there.
Yeah.
Right. Like
honestly, go on. Sorry, go on. Sorry.
Right now, they would be killing PSG if Chevalier wasn't the best goalkeeper in the world.
Yeah. Chevalier is literally saving them every single. Like they've had multiple shots.
High
Greenwood
XG
is
shots.
dude. Greenwood is killing them, by the way. Absolutely. But at the same time, like, De Zerbi wouldn't work here.
Watch,
with the
watch
players
the
we have.
adjectives, Nelson.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I made the mistake.
but I'm actually, I think Tuchel is I think people forget why Tuchel left. Tuchel left Chelsea because he was told he should take more responsibilities with transfers, and he didn't want that. Like, he literally said that. You should go check. The whole point was they wanted the manager to understand the players that they like, to get more and more responsibilities. And apparently Czech, and I can't remember who their other director of football was, but they were the ones who did everything. He only focused on the pitch, which is why I understand. I think that's why he went for the England, because he just wanted to be a coach. He didn't want to be a manager.
What do you guys think about, like, maybe let's say not Tuchel, but Pochettino? Because he was always linked with us in the past. He was always considered the bridesmaid, never the bride.
But he doesn't play with wingers.
Yeah,
I would rather take Cappuccino, bro.
It's you know who I want?
Yeah.
I want.
I would rather take Al Pacino at this age.
I would take a Cigarette Mario.
Ooh, I don't know who that is.
Mario Sarri.
Oh. I was like, who is this?
Oh my god!
You know what? Sarri's in a bad shout. But if he lost the dressing room at Chelsea, he's losing the dressing room here.
Oh, bro,
he's
for
losing
all
the
we
dressing room in the
know, Ineos will bring in Kepa as the backup keeper, bro.
Here's one thing: if you let him light up on the touchline, he's gonna be so calm. Just let him smoke the whole game.
Guys! I'm sorry to break up the good times, but can we actually center the conversation back to the interim coach decision? Because that's probably the more imminent one right now.
Rishi, when it comes to your point, for me, if Ineos really wants to gain the trust back from us, the fans, what they need to do is look for interim manager, or maybe caretaker, whichever the word is, who is going to make the list of changes to what the players were used to, such that, you see, the tactical flaws that they think Amorim had, they find a coach who can be like, what if we do this, but instead of doing it this way, we do it this way. This way seems better, so that it can prove to show that Ineos is really planning long term for the club. But that's also going to be difficult to do in the first place, to find a coach who would even want to do that.
Brother,
Do you know
they don't want to line up in a 3-back.
No.
That's the
No, I'm not saying to line up in a 3-back. You see
that's
what I'm
Robert's
saying?
saying. Yeah.
I'm saying, like, the principles of playing which Amorim tried to implement, like, you can just adjust how you come to the principle of play, the way of coming to the principle of play, into, like, instead of coming, let's say I'm going to point C and I was going through street A. What about if you go to point C but through street B? That's what I'm trying to say.
I see. Okay.
Like small tactical tweaks, not massive changes.
Yes,
And do you know, Robert, who that person would be for an interim? It would be Kieran McKenna. Like,
and that's
you stole the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah,
and that's also, guys. Also,
Yeah.
Nelson, on your point on Kieran McKenna, I think that's the guy who also needs to be our manager, because his principles at Ipswich last season was, even not last season, when he was still at the Championship.
He was good, dude. Kieran McKenna was good both times, yeah.
Look for space, be intense, be technical, and be dominant. Isn't that what modern football is?
Yeah. No,
Guys,
McKenna.
Has anyone looked at the Ligue 1 table this year?
Yeah, Lens is first, I think.
Yeah. What do you think about their manager, Pierre Saga, or however you say it?
Lens are really well run, by the way, guys. Like, it's actually a decently well run
Yeah, the
organization.
They are the Brighton of that league.
I was also looking at their team, and I see Odsonne Edouard would be a decent shot for us as a backup striker.
No.
He absolutely flopped at Palace.
Dude, I'm
absolutely
saying,
flopped at Palace.
Hold on, Rishi. Hold on. Calm down. Right. Everybody here, even when I made the members videos and the 5 p.m. videos where I talk about the top players that we're linked to, everyone is scoffing at any player below quality of like Fabian Ruiz. I was talking about the midfielders, and the only person that people got excited with is Fabian Ruiz. Have you guys seen where our club is, dude? Are you guys serious that Fabian Ruiz is the only person you're willing to enter the conversation? Odsonne Edouard is somebody we could get for something like 10 million euros. He's played in the Premier League before. We need him as a backup to Šeško. I don't see what the big deal is. Like, you guys want to sign Mateta as a backup to Šeško. Guys, Mateta's going to start over Šeško. Not anymore, maybe with the 2 goals that he scored, but like, you know what I'm saying? So for 10 million euros, somebody to be off the bench, if we're selling Xerxes, it's not really a bad shout. He's still only 27 years old.
So here's the thing. Have you ever seen Odsonne Edouard play in the
Yeah,
Premier
have
League?
you seen him play?
I have seen him play. He's got 7 goals and 2 assists in Ligue 1 this season.
But in the Prem, bro, he's absolute crap, dude. He was at Celtic right before.
Yeah, where he banged up goals.
Also
Yeah,
at Crystal Palace.
So he's an SPL player. He's a
He's an
championship
SPL
player.
player.
He's not a Premier
Yeah.
League player.
he's a good player on a
He's
lower
not even
level team.
He's not even Dominic Calvert-Lewin level, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, like if you were saying the DCL shout is much better than Edward for me, because even if we think Edward DCL is not the best player, which I don't
Guys,
think he is.
anyways, sorry, we're getting sidetracked again. We need to have the interim conversation because that is the most pressing matter right now. No, it's we go on tangents all the time.
For me, it's only McKenna or Carrick. Those are the only 2 I would entertain.
Because also, guys, I'm looking at the championship table right now. Ipswich is that. They are currently that. It shows that if he has players who are the quality of the particular league he's in, he knows how to manage. So it's kind of the company and Bayern story, honestly speaking. That's how I see it.
I'll take it a step further, actually. I'll take it a step further and say that McKenna has objectively proven that he's a better coach than Ollie or Carrick.
100%.
Because McKenna had 1/3 the budget that Carrick had in the season that he got promoted, and he got Ipswich 96 points that season. He got Ipswich to the Prem, and he played a back 3, by the way, when at a time when these guys, when this fellow Glasner had just come to the Premier League, and I think he was the first one who started playing. Of course, Brighton had historically played a back 3 in the 21-22 season also under Potter and under De Zerbi. But McKenna is the guy. If for their model, according to me, go for a prestige manager, go for whoever is available right now. And I actually personally, I don't even subscribe to this whole let's bring in someone who's an interim who will take us to the end of the season. Right? I don't subscribe to that because we tried that already when Ollie was fired and it didn't work. We brought in Ralph Rangnick till the end of the season. It didn't work.
Rishi, here's the thing with McKenna though. Why would he leave his permanent job at Ipswich to come be an interim? So
I'm saying that's what I'm saying. You hire him as a permanent manager. I'm saying you hire him as a permanent manager because that's what you eventually want to do, right? You want.
I know. I disagree. I disagree with that because it's going to be harder to get him out in the middle of the season with Ipswich now. I'd rather we still stick with this interim model.
Pay them 10 million or whatever because he's already lived the dream with Ipswich, right? He took them to the Premier League once and he did an entire season with them.
Right.
So if he tells the club that he's not interested anymore, he's already paid his dues to Ipswich. He's already shown them the dream.
But I don't think they're gonna do. I think they really want to make sure that they assess everybody in the summer, right? Because you have so many more managers that are gonna be available to you. So even if we go and we push to get him now, he's not gonna come on an interim basis. And then 2, it doesn't make sense to spend all that money just to get him out to eventually not keep him.
No, but Shailen, if we agree that he's the right guy to make those little tactical tweaks before he does a full reset in the summer or hard reset or whatever, then he's the guy to potentially take you to the Champions League, right? Because he's not going to do it.
I think bringing Amorim in last year in the middle of the season was to his detriment, not to his benefit.
100%.
And I don't think that because if you look at the way Andy mentioned it earlier, right? The media just compounded both of the seasons, and you could have put a goldfish in charge, we still would have ended up where we did. We were never ever going to let
There's a big difference, Shailen. McKenna is British, right?
Yeah, no, I know.
McKenna is British and he's ugly looking. That is very important. They don't like a good looking manager. Right?
All right. Well,
Carragher's not going to be offended.
He's not going to be threatened that someone's going to steal his wife. That's Carragher's biggest insecurity.
Okay,
Okay.
Rishi,
And the second one being that a third horse might kick him in the face.
actually,
you know,
guys,
That's a bit of an inside joke.
what I think should happen is if they're looking for an interim, I think for me, this is actually my personal opinion. I think Darren Fletcher is the man for the job. I think he is the man, personally speaking, because what's the need of getting Michael Carrick, getting him all the way from which team is this? Middlesbrough. Is he at Middlesbrough? Is he on at Middlesbrough? I think it's just better to keep
No,
Darren
he's
Fletcher.
fired, bro. He's
he
fired.
got
He was
fired.
fired from
He's no
Middlesbrough.
longer at Middlesbrough, bro.
He finished
He's
8th
fired.
and 10th over the past two
Yeah.
seasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been
So,
fired in the
For
summer.
me, so let me just now extrapolate on my reason for preferring Fletcher. I think Fletcher was backroom stuff back when in Amorim's first season, right? Or
Yeah.
he did something in the background. So if anything, he could have picked up some ideas from Amorim, and
Roberts.
also by how
It doesn't
Yeah.
work like that
Robert,
for a coach.
Let me.
Robert.
Do you remember what Rangnick said about Fletcher? Because people seem to forget what Rangnick said.
No, I remember.
Rangnick
Ragnick was
said,
asked.
"I have
Ragnick was
no
asked.
clue what this guy does."
Yeah.
He literally said,
absolutely.
"I have no idea what this guy does."
Yes.
By the way, Robert, I am Fletcher's #1 fan as a player.
Mhm.
I don't want him as interim coach.
Yes.
He
exactly.
hasn't shown any sort of like.
Yeah.
You see, when we're talking about McKenna's coached at Spurs youth team, Leicester
No,
youth
but-
team, Forest youth team, Vancouver Whitecaps. Andy and I would know that.
So-
and
so-
then United.
No, I
So
wouldn't.
is
I
it-
don't
is
want
it-
him
is
alone,
it-
You know what's-
bro.
you know
is it
what's
based
the
on his
regular
experience
league?
that you want him to have?
You
the
fraud.
job?
It's a shit competition, bro. I don't care about that.
Yes, sir.
Is it based on
Because for me,
based
I'll
on
be
his
honest.
experience that he's been coaching teams? That's why you want him to be given the job. Because personally, I don't rate McKenna. To be honest with you, I don't rate him at all. He's not a good coach.
Robert, you
Sometimes
want to say
says Middlesbrough first season under Carrick, 16th to 4th.
Yeah. But look at Ipswich. Look at Kieran McKenna's run for Ipswich. He brought them up and will bring them up this season too, if he
No,
stays.
but
was
the
just
point
the
is,
fir-
Nelson,
that was
the
just
point
the
is,
first season, by the way. Two
Yeah.
subsequent seasons.
Maresca also brought up what's the name of the team?
Leeds.
Leicester, right?
Leicester, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, but we saw him the championship. I mean, if we give you some, good players, you yourself, you can even bring up a team. So,
Never.
But Vinny,
but-
let me ask Vinny a question. Vinny, let's be honest. But can you sit down and say it?
Adam.
Oh my God, why?
Adamantly, is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Adamantly?
Can you sit and say it
that's you are fucking
confidently
about it.
that? Because I'm double
Adamantine,
just
guys,
at the
Wolverine.
moment.
Mason Greenwood
Okay,
just
like-
won a pen. Mason Greenwood.
Okay, so can you say confidently that who is this guy? Maresca is not a good coach with what he had at Chelsea.
He's not.
I didn't rate him. I didn't rate him, to be honest with
He's
you.
not.
I didn't rate
For me,
Maresca.
I'll be honest, I rated him higher than I did Arteta, but that's just
Okay.
my personal opinion.
Okay.
I rated him higher than I did Arteta because
Maresca, based on what?
what I have seen. Because
Mm.
What
I was
did you
like,
see? What did you see?
okay, let me tell you what I said. Okay, first of all, it came in the. Let me just say the PSG game. First of all, I was like, how did he get these Chelsea players to do this? Because
My man,
when he
I
gets
really,
it right,
I really cherish your knowledge on football, but that was a glorified friendly match.
It was. It really was.
I'm not even done
Also,
communicating
by
my
the way,
point.
Cole Palmer did the job. Like, it wasn't really Maresca's tactics. Like, so Nelson's losing the debate
Yeah.
again.
No, but here, like,
Okay,
no,
fair enough,
I actually.
Oh, guys, hold on. Sorry. Sean has come in with breaking news in the chat.
Well,
He says Indicala reports Mickey van der Ven is looking for a move away this summer.
Yeah,
well,
I
that's
saw
Real
him. I
Madrid.
saw him fighting with the supporters.
Yeah, the supporters. He had a fight with the supporters. But Indicala is like, breaking news. Ruben Amorim was gonna get sacked from United. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. He said it every month.
yeah.
Once it worked, he was like, "Yeah, you see, I told you."
Greenwood just scored for Marseille.
Yeah, he did.
Oh damn.
Oh,
That's
I-
an interesting game.
I'm watching the game, but I don't want to speak up.
I need to watch the game also.
But
Oh, no, that's it.
wait,
I was saying, we were talking about.
you were explaining how Maresca. But here's my point about.
Okay, I'm not even. Let me just finish the
Yeah,
point.
finish first. Yeah, go ahead.
Because I don't. First of all, when Chelsea won the Club World Cup, I was like, it's a oh my God, glorified friendly shit. I was like, that's the reason. I was like, you guys were lucky, that's why you won. But looking at it again tactically, I'm like, there's something he got right.
Mhm.
Because here's the thing with Maresca. Once he gets it right, it's really right. But once he gets it wrong, it's really wrong. Because in some sort of way, he had the same faults which Amorim had. If Amorim got it right, it was beautiful to watch. But the day he got it wrong, you could just be like, what is this I'm watching? That's why I rate Maresca.
So-
I don't
so
rate
can-
him
but
Can I tell you,
high.
Robert, why I rate
I-
McKenna more? In that season, the season that
Yeah.
you rate for Maresca at the championship, he had
No, I
11
don't rate his
losses.
championship season. I don't.
Oh, you're rating
what you
from
guys-
Chelsea.
Yeah, from Chelsea, with the players he had from Chelsea.
In the championship
That's it.
season, for the time both Maresca and McKenna were there, the difference in points was 1 point. Maresca had 11 losses, and McKenna only had 6. Like there's a reason why I think McKenna, by the way, is literally like the company thing, where
That's what I'm
is a
going to
good
tell you.
coach.
I don't rate McKenna,
Not,
guys.
not many people
Really?
want to
I don't
Interesting.
rate
do
that
that.
guy at all.
Robert, let's I want to move from your love of Maresca, undying love and support of Maresca. I'm sure you'll be waiting outside the city ground, hoping for a signature next season. But let's move on to Vinny. Vinny, why do you not rate McKenna?
Because he has improving enough. He has improving enough.
Hmm.
Of course, I know the Ipswich team was they did not have the budget, right, to spend in the Premier League for them to have enough Arsenals, to compete within the Premier League. But sometimes all these upcoming coaches, right, there is something that you see with them. Even we tend to actually say that this guy wasn't a good coach, Villas-Boas. But then when you watch the Porto team, you could see that the guy was doing something right, even though the move was too early for him. When you watch the Zerbi, right? When you watch this team, his Brighton team, you could see something. Also, his Sassuolo team, you could see something. I'm not having that feeling from McKenna. I don't know what his football really is, right? Under 18s, he was superb because the kind of football that they were playing there, and again, that is youth game, right? And Man United tend to have the best. I mean, if you are Man United, Tottenham, he did very well. That's the reason why we went for him from Tottenham. But then when he came to the Premier League, he couldn't actually, stamp his feet to show that, okay, this is my
Vinny, but he was
identity.
dealing
This
with
is what I
Ipswich
stand for.
resources, right? I think I'll tell you my point, right? When I watched Vincent Kompany play with Burnley, I was not impressed
Neither was I.
at all.
Yeah.
Same.
I was not impressed one bit. We have a James official joining. Is this James like from the Muppeteers? Like this guy? I don't see a message from him, so I'm gonna assume this is somebody else. But anyways, Vinny, my point is, it's clear that United or Ineos want a company man to join, right? Not Vincent Kompany, a company man, as in somebody who will listen to their instructions. Then they want somebody from the list of ex-United players or people who've worked at United before because they understand this United DNA bullshit, right? So from that short list of like Ruud van Nistelrooy, Darren Fletcher, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Michael Carrick, Kieran McKenna, I personally think Kieran McKenna is the best one. I think that's the argument we're having here because I don't even know. We got sidetracked by Maresca.
Yeah.
Kieran McKenna is better than Carrick as well, in my opinion, based purely on what he's done, even outside of United.
All right. So you are just comparing him to the
From
United
those, yeah,
names.
of course, because
Okay,
we're
all right.
talking about a manager that can come in. And here's the reason why I prefer McKenna on a permanent over anybody else as
On a permanent?
as an interim. Yeah, anyone else as an interim, because these guys like Carrick is going to come in, and what are we going to do for 6 months? The players are going to be like, what? Do I listen to you? Do I learn these tactics? right? And we tried it before with Ralph Rangnick. Somebody else said it. I don't know. Maybe it was Nelson. We tried it with Ralph Rangnick. It doesn't work. Okay, Ralph Rangnick wasn't a company man, and we're looking for somebody else. We tried before with Ollie to give the interim job, and we ended up giving him the permanent job. So in general, I don't like this interim business, not for 6 months. If it was 1 month, fine. Get in whoever you want. Get in Ryan Giggs. Right? But for me, I think it's better to just get a permanent manager and get the guy that you want from Ineos. Because here's the thing, Vinny. We can sit here and try to theory craft the perfect manager for us that would take us to the top. Realistically, whoever Ineos bring in is going to fail. Let's be honest about that, right?
Yeah,
Why
of
are we
course,
trying
yeah.
to sit here and dream some dreams? The next guy that Ineos bring in, he's going to fail. So might as well be somebody that they want to get who follows the United DNA. And it's so bad that they want to leave the club, or they just eventually decide, you know what, this investment is not what we thought it was going to be, because they thought, oh, Glazers are so stupid. They're obviously overpaying for everything. We're going to come in and do 10 times better than them spending 10% of the money. That's
But
what
if
they
we're-
thought.
Can I
If we're
say
talking
something?
interim,
Can I
why
say
is
something?
McKenna? Hold on one second. If we're talking interim, why are we talking McKenna?
No,
Because
I'm
he's not
saying
going
we
to be
don't
interim.
get him an interim, though. I'm saying we get him on a permanent.
I don't think they're going to want that.
Why not?
Why would they? They want to reassess in the summer, brother.
That's what
No,
I'm
but
saying.
that's just lip service, Ed. That's just lip service. They also know that they just want to do a whole song and dance to show that,
Ed,
oh, we are serious
which
about it.
well,
We
I
want a
mean,
proper
which
manager,
good
and we
coach?
are
No, Rishi.
we are just holding
Rishi,
fort
I
for now.
actually think so. Based on the noises we're hearing now, I'm not saying they might change their mind, but based on what we're hearing now, they want the next guy to come in that's not named Darren Fletcher before the City game. That's what we've heard from them, right? They want somebody to come in before the City game, to manage the City game, to manage the Arsenal game. That's the only problem we have in terms of getting McKenna in, because these guys are so incompetent. I think they decided to fire Ruben without thinking about the contingency plan, because technically the
absolutely.
interim should have been in already.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah,
I think
correct.
Ed is right that they do want to get an interim and reassess in the summer. My point is that that's a bad strategy.
Oh, 100%. I don't agree with the strategy.
So-
And Vinny, I want Carrick in out of everybody.
So the point is, the reason why I don't want any ex-player or anybody who has actually had something to do with United before, guys, is gonna be chaotic, because it's gonna be factions, right? He's also going to have his session within the media. He's also not going to sit there for Ineos or whoever to use the media against him. He's also going to use his guys within the media. So we are still going to turn like, clowns as we still are, right? So that's the reason why I don't want anything to do with anybody who have previously has things with United, right? But then on the other side, which serious coach or which coach worth of its salt would like to step into this chaos? So yeah, for me, I mean, yeah, whoever they wanna bring in, fine. I mean, I'm a fan. I'm here. Like, I'm not really
Actually, Vinny.
perturbed about that. But then no Maresca, man. Come on, Maresca.
Yeah, Ankit Pandya says, in my opinion, they might go the Bayern route to have a system manager. Company moved from Burnley to Munich. We might do the same with McKenna, and that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
That McKenna makes sense as a system manager. Not that
Andy,
he won't be my first choice.
rate Company? Do you rate Vincent Company?
No,
Because
You
I
don't
have
rate
an
Vincent
opinion.
Company?
no.
I have an opinion on Vincent Company, right? I think the league is
I
so
think
weak,
I rate Company
right?
the man manager. There's a lot to be said about his leadership, but tactically
No,
speaking,
no.
like
Listen, brother. Bayern, this is with Company in, the training sessions have never been harder before.
bro,
the
they
guy
say
makes
that about
players
every
work.
coach.
Every
I'm
coach,
telling you.
yeah.
No,
yeah.
they don't. I'm telling you, it's different.
Every
Company,
coach, man. Listen. I
Is
hear
it
you.
the
I
same
hear you.
Bayern
You're a
that
Bayern
had
fan.
Hansi
I'm
Flick?
not trying to overrule your opinion. I'm just giving you mine, right? For me, Company, in terms of the jump that he's made, it's more to do with his name than anything else. Like, to go from that Burnley job to the Bayern Munich job, I'm not saying he's doing a good job, but come to me after he's done something other than just winning the German league. Right? If he goes deep in the Champions League this year,
Yeah.
we can talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every coach that goes to
Eyesight
Bayern
issue,
Munich
yeah.
can look good. Is he looking
Mhm.
better than some other coaches? Fair enough. But dude, show me something that a Bayern coach can do. That's why I also didn't rate Pep Guardiola at Bayern Munich, by the way.
I don't want to talk about Pep at Bayern because I'll start crying. Here's the thing with company. He lost his best player and still got a tune out of the team. Right?
In which
And-
competition?
Hammer says
Bundes-
Ed has some awful takes. Hammer, I've seen you type in the chat. I don't think you're one to speak
In the
about awful
Bundesliga,
takes.
Ed? Are you talking about the Bundesliga?
Yes, in the Bundesliga.
Come on, Bundesliga. Bayern can actually win it with their second team.
Correct,
There's
but I
no
mean, in
competition
general, they're also doing well in the Champions League. Yeah, we did lose to Arsenal.
Till the business end of the tournament, dude. Come on, like you know how the script goes
We
with
need to
Bayern,
see.
right? They
So
start
for me,
they
he
start
hasn't
well, but
proven
they screw
anything
it up
yet.
later.
He hasn't proven anything, and once he does, I'll give him his dues. But Hammer's given us a super chat. He says, "Why does the manager matter? The sporting project is clueless. We won't move forward until we move on from our past. It's holding us back." I agree. Listen, Hammer. The conversation here is not about whether it matters or not. The question is, they're going to make a decision. Who do we think is the best one out of the choices they're looking at? Right? Because for me, honestly, we should go for. I agree with Nelson. I would like to see a De Zerbi. Like
Yeah.
at this point, if it's just going to explode, I
Yeah.
hope he takes them down with him.
Yeah.
Right? That's
Yeah.
where my thoughts are at. Like I have no faith in this. I'm telling you guys, whoever comes in next, we are not winning the league with that guy.
And that's the
Guaranteed.
reason
It's
why
not
I
because
don't
of
want
their fault.
a yes man, right? Because I think McKenna will be a yes man. I want a Tuchel. I want a De Zerbi. Somebody
Oh,
who can
2-1
take them down.
Marseille.
Yeah, 2-1. Yeah.
Another
damn.
penalty. Oh no, own
No.
goal. Own goal.
That's a non-goal. I want somebody with an identity, right? Because
I'm not saying company would be good for United. I'm just saying I like company for Bayern. I like them a lot.
Actually, guys, before we move from this company, what do you guys actually think of Farioli?
he was chased out from Ajax, man.
No, it's just as Ajax is shit. You all know Ajax is
Oh.
shit.
Take your time. Take your time.
Ajax is shit. No,
I don't
and
like them
I'm not.
either. Look at. Have you seen this?
What?
I don't like
What?
them either. Have you seen what I have?
Oh yeah.
Nobody
Rotterdam.
from
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Nobody
Feyenoord-
from this
Feyenoord
club
jersey,
loves
yeah.
Ajax. Okay, so if you say
Ajax-
Ajax is shit, Ajax is indeed shit.
You know, the reason, because I was like, what was happening to Ajax? One day I sat down and I was asking myself, what happened to Ajax that they're this shit? And ever since Van der Sar left, the club is
Wasn't an
typically
So
the
Ajax,
club
right?
seems to be
You know their issue. Do you know their issue?
okay. Yeah,
Their issue has been, of course, when Van der Sar and Overmax especially, Mark Overmax, when he
Yeah.
was accused of sending dick pics to actually some of the employees there, that was the issue, right? That was when they started having issue, and they went in for this guy, Sven Mislintat, who also came in and brought only his agency players to Ajax. And then
Yeah, I've seen
actually,
that story too.
everything started going on around. And Ajax also has the same kind of issue that United is having right now. The ex-players are always of Ajax DNA. And with Ajax, you know for real that they have a DNA, right? Due to the Johan Cruyff way of playing. They really have that DNA. That one, you have to give it to them, right? So when Farioli or whatever his name is came in, he wasn't playing the way that Ajax was actually used to. And this guy always had to come and defend himself, right, in the press that, yeah, I don't have the materials. This is what I can do. This is what I have. This is what I did. So at the end of the day, he was kind of chased out. You know, he was almost the champion, but he lost the game at the last playing round. And then he went to Porto, right? But with what he showed at Ajax, losing a championship in that manner, I mean, come on, it's not a
Guys,
me,
can we
not a sign of a
you
quality
know,
club.
like, listen, why don't we just send Maresca to Ajax so that Robert can just be happy with both the topics here? Because I want to come back to United and I want to hear from Shri as well. Shri, give us your thoughts on this on this whole situation? Who would you like to see as interim manager?
Sure. So yeah, first of all, I just want to say that I was really disappointed with Amorim sacking. He should have been backed, and we should have just seen it through, but it didn't happen. But it is what it is. I don't really support the interim manager situation. I want somebody who's permanent right now, because we don't have time to play managers come summer because we have the World Cup. We don't have a preseason, and it's better if we did what we did with Amorim when he came in. He was able to scout out the squad and see what he needs, what he doesn't need. But I think, like you guys were saying, I think I like McKenna more now that I look deeper. So it looks like he plays a back four, but the thing is, in possession, he moves to a back three. So he plays 3-4-1-2 or 3-4-2-1, whatever. And he's hyper flexible, so it's kind of like a Amorim wannabe, I guess. He plays with experienced players. Like he plays with all the patterns. He's high pressing and stuff, so there's no transition or counter attacks going on there. And
Guys, do you watch a different McKenna?
No. I'm just reading it from the articles.
Because I'm not. I don't recognize this in McKenna actually.
Yeah, from what I've read and what I've seen so far, anyway, that's where I'm coming from. I haven't like gone through like every game, but they're like 2 points away from promotion. And by the way, their club had a profit because they were relegated, and they sold their players and they made a profit. And despite that, he's like 2 points away from promotion or something like that. And all their wins are pretty big. So 3-0, 4-0, 2-0. And the losses are pretty small, so like marginal losses. And yeah, I think the adaptability factor is what I think I would like to see in the next manager. Only because I know that these owners are not going to back any new manager that's going to come in. They're going to want to have their say. So I don't really have hopes for another manager who's like Amorim and wants to stamp their authority. I don't think that's going to work. So McKenna is like the closest fix that we have for the situation.
Yeah. Guys, I'm going to rotate the panel a little bit and just get some of the other folks in that are waiting. So Vinny, Robert, Ed, I'll get the next guys in, all right?
Okay.
And this is kind of closing the show here. Thank you guys for waiting in the background, Karthike and James Official. How you guys doing?
Hi guys.
Karthike, you're muted, or I can't hear you at least. And James, where are you calling from?
Hi guys. Hello.
Hey, we can hear you.
Hi. Oh, you can hear me. Okay. I'm calling from Kenya.
From where?
Kenya.
Kenya. Okay.
Kenya.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You're like our fifth or sixth caller from Kenya. That's awesome. We're very popular in Kenya. I like it. Go on. Tell us your thoughts.
Guys, is there a fan or something on in the background? I think.
Yeah, I think maybe James has something in the background.
James, yeah, leaf blower or something is going on. Maybe.
Sorry, just a minute.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, sure. I'm just gonna mute you till then. I will say hi to Karthike. Karthike, how you doing? Nope, can't hear you still. Just check
Headphones
your
are probably
settings
not
on StreamYard.
connected. Yeah.
But Rishi, can we talk about some of the other managers that are out there? Like, what about Iraola?
Yeah, I'll have Iraola here. High pressing manager, getting a tune out of a team that is in financial ruin, getting the best out of players who weren't even rated for the longest time. Dude, who the hell is Alex Scott? Who's Marco Senesi? No one knew about Senesi till a couple of years back. Semenyo is Semenyo because of Iraola for the last couple of years. So I would absolutely have Iraola.
Gonzalo Ramos scored a 95th minute equalizer for PSG.
PSG. Oh, interesting. So I'll absolutely have these players, dude. Like, these managers. Anyone who has proven it in the Premier League, right? Someone who's new. Like, objectively, someone could say that a guy like Oli has achieved a second place position, right? But my point is, we've lived through that movie again, right? Like it's movie night again. Let's play a different movie. Like let's see something that's more exciting. Iraola has a philosophy. He got these slightly above average players to commit to a pressing system. Imagine in today's time when players are expected to press, right? We have players who are not physical enough, and when to bring a club to become the pinnacle of that, that's the guy you should be looking at. You shouldn't be looking at Oliver Glasner, who has the least pressing team. And by the way, this guy came up under Marcelo Bielsa, who is the godfather of all these coaches who are, heavy metal football players. He's Pep's godfather. Iraola came up under him. I remember that 2011-12 season when we dropped down from the Champions League. We had a bang average group, dude, and we struggled through that also. And it was under Sir Alex, and we lost. We dropped down to the Europa League as a third place Champions League team, and we lost terribly to these guys, Bilbao. They pressed us off the pitch, bro. I remember Carrick was surrounded in all directions by these players, Iraola and Herrera and all these guys, Iker Muniain. So these guys have that good sort of slightly more modern sort of philosophy of playing the game, right? So I would absolutely have Iraola. I think that's a good shout. I think, but someone like Liverpool might go for him. That's my only concern. And if Liverpool goes, he will go there.
Yeah, honestly, I think the only thing with Iraola for me is whether he can handle the charm offensive from the United Legend medias, right? Because those idiots are going to come for anybody that's not from the British Isles, and that's the other reason, right? I actually think our best case scenario with the next manager, and this is just me being super honest, our best case scenario is someone like McKenna comes in, or Carrick comes in, or Ollie comes in, and we finish in the top 4 for a couple of seasons, and we choose from a position of power in terms of getting the next manager. Because I don't trust these guys one bit to make the right decision from where we are right now. I'm telling you guys, the next guy that comes in is going to fail. This is because they're gonna big him up as this is the guy to win the league for us. We're not going to win the league in the next 2-3 years. Our best bet to win the league is probably like 2030, 2031, maybe. And that too, it's like maybe Man City has the 115 against them. Arteta eventually gets tired of finishing second, gets booted out. A lot of these teams are looking to rebuild again because that's what happens with the rebuild, right? What people don't realize is that even though we spent all this money, a lot of those players are now gone or old, which means they need to be replaced, right? 60 million on Casemiro is now worth 0 to us. 90 million on Antony is now worth 0 to us. 70, 80 million on Sancho, now worth 0 to us. Marcus Rashford, we're not going to get any money for him. Onana, 50 million, worth 0 to us. So there's a lot of this money that's like kind of a sunk cost. We're not going to get it back. And at the same time, the team that's playing has gone downhill. Where Luke Shaw, even 2 years ago, was a credible center back option, left center back option, or even a left wing back option, is no longer there. Martinez, 2 years ago, where he was looking like one of the best center backs in the league, no longer there as an option. Matthijs de Ligt, injury prone. Maguire, 2 years ago, was an option, no longer an option. So we have so many players here that the squad needs a full rebuild, and that's not going to happen for any manager. So Tuchel comes in, we're not going to give him 500 million. It's more likely that we give 200 million to McKenna every year, and then he develops a couple of players. So we get a few more Mainus in the squad, a few more Scott McTominays in the squad, and then we go and spend the big money to get the top tier players. I think that's the best case scenario. But Karthik, is your mic working now? Still not working. Still can't hear you.
Hi, Andy. Can I go?
Yes, go for it.
Hi, I'm Dhruv. Already appeared once before.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I agreed with your point on that day. Even after 3-4 days, it's still quite overwhelming losing Amorim suddenly. The hope, the suffering that we all endured, that going to waste, and the club going back to square one. And I think one thing that the owners might continue to do is send us back on wild goose chases, and it is very important to be pragmatic. They can throw players like Yan Diomande, players who are actually exciting, managers who are really flamboyant, but we are at the precipice of a generational change for our club, in the sense that we can be perpetually mid-table for quite a while if we don't stabilize. So while I agree with all the other players, I don't think that our interim manager deserves to be a permanent manager. It needs to be for 6 months for the remaining 18 games that we have, and that's it. Okay with Ole if people want him, if he's just there to maximize the output from our players, but not one game more than that. Not the preseason. Just have a contract stipulation with a good manager, whoever it is, to kill Maresca, anyone who has the vision. Not a We need a manager and not a head coach. So I think that even though it is very difficult, we need to introspect, and the fan pressure needs to be there. And yeah, I do hope that some common sense and optimism will prevail at the end of the season. Yeah, that's just the obvious that I can state at this moment.
Yeah. No, that's fair. What was I going to say? So for me, I agree with you. I think we need some common sense. But the only problem is with the interim manager, it's going to be difficult for us to kind of look at an interim manager and make any sense of it, right? It's kind of giving up on the season if we get an interim manager is kind of my point, because the players know he's not going to be there next year. So what's the point of listening to him is kind of what I was trying to get at. But,
And if you look at a player like Ollie, who has historically been there as someone who is a stabilizing force, who brings temporarily at least the best in players, that can be a good call. I mean, if we give too much power like we did during a second season, where player politics was a major factor for his dismissal, then it will be detrimental. But for 6 months, or even less than that, rather 4 months, 18 games, I think that is a fair call.
Yeah, fair enough. Rishi, what were you saying?
No, I was just saying that I don't know if you've been following all the noises that have been coming out of this whole Oli to United interim situation. They have said that Oli is throwing his hat in the ring for the job, and he also would like to continue on a permanent basis if the interim period is successful. So he's not just coming in to do a favor and calm down the waters, or something like that. He still has his eye on the main job, and if he does get the qualification, what's the guarantee they won't keep Oli on for another season? They'll say that, see, he did well for a season and a half. He did well for 2.5 seasons. It's the third season which he got into trouble, and that's how long they need, because in 2028 they will start the real rebuild. You guys don't understand. They might just be hamstrung by the fact, Andy, we've covered this many times. Summer of 2023, sins of 2023. They can only start a true rebuild when these heavy contracts are off the books. 2027 Shaw is off the books. 2028 Lichas off the books, or 2027 Lichas off the books again, if they don't extend his contract by 1 year. Onana, Rashford, these are guys who are costing them close to £1 million in salary. Only then can they really start the rebuild. So they might just be looking to ride out this 2 year period, saying that let's see if we qualify this season and next season. In these 3 summers of 26, 27, and 28, they need to qualify twice for the Champions League. That is an additional 400 million in revenue. That should be enough for them to start a rebuild for the new guy who comes in 2028. So that's all they're looking at. They're hedging their bets, bro. So with that in view, Oli for them makes sense if he comes in as interim, gets them 5th place, reaches the Champions League, Next season they have extra money to build the squad the way they want, and if he flops next season, then they fire him next season and they hire someone else. We've seen that in Nice. I'm very inclined to listen to Nelson these days because he studied them top to bottom. He knows all the tricks that Shalen's up to, so he knows what Ineos are going to do. So Ineos
Thoughts?
Yeah,
is just going
Rishi,
to
that's a completely fair call. Even when Oli was dismissed, you could see his body language. The interview when he was sacked, there was still that feeling of a guy who has lived his dream, and it was a fairy tale. And of course, he would like to be a permanent manager. That is a dream of uh, like majority of the managers out there. Forget ex players and United faithfuls, but it's our sense of duty also to not give him uh, that magic bean where he decides to be the jack.
Yeah. Shaylin, your thoughts?
On whether or not we actually go for somebody permanent now, or sorry.
No, just what Sir Jim has told you.
You know I can't disclose that. I have an NDA.
I mean, I'll just ask Gary Neville, I guess, because it's
Yeah, I
I'll
guess
take
so.
it from the horse's mouth.
No, this is going to be really. I think this will be really telling, right? I think they have to sign like a player in January to be able to be like, okay, hey, we're going with this club model, right? That really like stamps and cements it, right? Because it's like, oh, like if you're just gonna get the guys that you want, you expect the next manager to work in the way that it is that you want it to work, then fine, right? It also tests if whether or not this guy Wilcox actually has some sort of coherent vision in what he wants to expect, like the person in the future that's going to manage, or like the type of style that we're going to play. And I think it might even tell us or point us to a direction of what type of manager that they look for. Now that's the smart thing to do, especially when you're in this situation. The smartest thing was don't fire the guy, wait until the summer. But the smart thing now is you still continue moving forward with whatever thought or plan that you have like going forward. But I don't think they're going to do that. And to what like I think what Rishi was alluding to, and like even like saying earlier, right? Like you can bring in somebody who will likely just follow what you want for the next, I'll say, 18 months, right? Because they're just destined to fail before you decide to reshuffle again and really implement it inside of like a 2028 vision, right? They could have internally just said that plan is now a wash, right? And they'll say, we'll really look to challenge for the title when the new stadium is gonna open up. So,
Yeah. Guys, Chinmay is asking if are we joking or just Shaylin actually know Ratcliffe? He knows Ratcliffe personally. He walks his dog. I just don't know if it's Sir Jim Ratcliffe or some dude in his neighborhood. But could be either or. But anyways, guys, on that note, we'll leave it here. Yan Diomande, we got caretakers that are being discussed. We'll see a lot of information coming out either before or after the Brighton game. My guess is even before the Brighton game, we might find out who the interim is. So next couple of days, watch this space, and we'll keep the conversation going. We'll be back again for a 10 p.m. show today. I may also do a 5 p.m. show, but more to come on that. That's kind of optional because I have a bunch of stuff to deal with here. But anyways, thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you, guys.